MCQs question or 5 questions, you can say 5 questions. Okay, each has 1 mark. Each has 1 mark. Yes. So multiple choice MCQs. So total all MCQs. So these will be MCQs. It means multiple choice. You have to choose from 4 different options. You have to choose one of them. Okay. So from 4 different, how grades? Total 5 marks. Total 5 marks. Total 5 marks. Okay. So total 5 grades, 5 marks. So 5 marks, 5 question, each has 1 mark. Okay. And the quiz will be online, blackboard. It will be, it will be on the, it will be through blackboard. It will be through blackboard. Okay. How much time? Here it is written 1 hour. It means 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. But at 9:59 you can solve. But whenever you have to solve at 10, it will not accept. It means you have 59 minutes. You have just only 59 minutes. Okay, it is almost 1 hour. It is almost 1 hour. Okay, so 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Okay, understand? So if you have any question regarding it, you can ask. Okay, okay, I just upload here uh, the material for the today class. Okay, okay, I when I start the class, so today when I class, so I should start the recording, no problem. Welcome, welcome. So also one thing more, if you need solved questions of 4.5, solved questions of 4.5 and 5.3. So I have solved. I also sent to Abdurrahman. Abdurrahman is teaching you uh, tutorial class. Who is teaching? Yes. So I have solved some questions and also I have sent to him. If you send me the email, so I can. I am not sure how many questions, but some questions from the syllabus I have solved and I have sent to him. Yes, Abdulaziz.
Dr. Abdurrahman, he solved with us some questions from 4.7,
Okay.
and
Yes.
we finished already from 4.7 exercise. Last class with him.
Okay. So I have typed and I sent to him. Also, I have typed 5.3. So I
Doctor, can you give us the sheet you write, like
yes,
the
yes, yes,
manual? Can I
yes.
send for you my email? Then I will send for my friend.
Okay, okay, okay. Send me your email address.
Okay, now I will
I
put in,
send
doctor.
it to you. Okay, okay. Yes, the exam. It means the quiz will be multiple choice. Multiple choice. Okay. Okay, Abdulaziz, send me your email address such that I can send you the SART 5.3 and okay, okay, I am sending you and send to all the colleagues. Just I am here through email. Just wait. Yes, is the first midterm exam until the ends of the seventh section. Hyperbolic and L'Hopital rule. Yes, I. It means in the next start of the next week we shall finish this chapter and we shall start seventh chapter. So it means before midterm exam we shall solve we shall complete all the syllabus of the exam one. Okay. Yes. Yes. Abdul Aziz. Did you got?
Yes, Doctor, I have now 4.7 and only 5.3.
Yes. Please share it with all your class
Sure, sure.
fellows.
But what about 5.4, teacher, doctor?
Okay. Okay. I just copy your email address. So inshallah,
Inshallah,
uh,
inshallah. I'm waiting for
whether
your for your email.
okay. 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 Okay.
Okay, thank
Inshallah.
you.
It means
Thank you.
within 2 days. Within 2 days. Not now because maybe tomorrow evening or after tomorrow.
Okay,
I
no
can
problem.
send.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Okay, thank you.
Okay. 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 Thank you so much. Okay. Khalid Muhammad Jaber. In the first midterm, we have till chapter 7, and we have to complete chapter 7 before midterm. And I shall try my best to complete chapter 7 and revise all the things before the midterm exam. And also there is some news, but not sure that there will be only one midterm exam. There will be only one and one final. So if it is this case, this scenario, uh, then what will be it means? What will be the how many marks for the midterm exam one and how many marks for the final? So it means the department will sit and they will discuss and they will decide. So at this stage we do not have a comprehensive or it means decision from the university such that I can convey you. You understand my point? So, but for the midterm exam, we must have to complete chapter 7. Okay. And the final will include all the sections. Yes, the uh, final, of course. In the final, we shall complete all the. It means we not only complete, but all the things will be included. Okay. Okay. Just okay. So last time, just because I here last time we have discussed. Yes, we was here. Okay, okay. We start recording here also. Not here. It was 5.5. Yes. Okay. So So today we shall solve some questions from the exercise 5.4, and we shall start the topic 5.6, which is substitution method for the definite integral. Okay, so first of all we solve here some questions from the exercise which are included in our syllabus. Then we move to the next topic, which is substitution method for the definite integral. Substitution method for the definite integral. So here we have, last time we have solved some questions, but from question 33 we have not solved. So today we shall solve question number 33 and 37, and the other also some. So in 33 you can see uh, we have to solve indefinite integral. We have to solve indefinite integral of 1 by t square, 1 divided by t square cosine 1 by t minus 1 dt. So we have given this type of the function. Here you can see it is composition of the function. This is composition of the function. This 1 over t square, basically it is uh, g dash of t. So if we take 1 over t minus 1, it is equal to g of t. Then what will be the its derivative? So derivative of 1 over t, it is equal to minus 1 over t square. So now I solve on the top. Okay, I solved on the top. So here, yes. So first of all we rearrange the given integral. We rearrange the given integral. I write in this way. It means cosine n2 1 over t minus 1 over t minus 1. I rearrange into in this way. Question number 33. Question number 33. Okay. And we put 1 over t square at the end before d of t. 1 over t square at the end before d of dt. Okay. Now if you see, if we put 1 over t minus 1, it is equal to u, and u is equal to g of t. So this will become, this function will becomes cosine u, and if we take its derivative, what is derivative of 1 over t? It is equal to minus 1 over t square dt. Okay, minus 1 over t square. So we solve it by the substitution method. So let we say that let u is equal to 1 by t 1 by t minus 1. U is equal to 1 by t minus 1. U is equal to 1 by t minus 1. So if we take its derivative, whenever we take its derivative, so what is du over dt? Du over dt, it is equal to minus 1 over t square. It is equal to minus 1 over t square. So we shift dt on the other side by the cross multiplication. Okay, so here du it is equal to minus 1, here minus 1 divided by t square dt, minus 1 divided by t square dt. It means here 1 over t square dt, here we have 1 over t square dt, here we have minus 1 over. So that is why we product with minus. Whenever we product with minus, this will becomes minus du. Product minus with the both side. So this minus minus, it will becomes positive. So we conclude that 1 divided by t square dt, it is equal to minus du. 1 divided by t square dt, it is equal to minus du. Thus our given integral will become cosine u our integral will be converted into cosine u minus du. Cosine u minus du. Okay. So this minus, it will go outside. It will go outside. So minus indefinite integral cosine u. Now I ask you a question. What is antiderivative of cosine u? Yes. What is antiderivative, not derivative? I am asking about antiderivative. So what is antiderivative of cosine u? It is equal to sine u. It is equal to sine u. Not positive, positive. So this minus is already given outside. So that is why it will becomes minus sine u. Minus sine u plus minus sine u plus constant, plus constant. So as we are dealing with the indefinite integral, so for indefinite integral, we must have to add some constant. We must have to add some constant. So at the end, we replace by u is equal to 1 by t. Replace u by 1 over t minus 1. Thus, final answer is sine 1 over t minus 1. 1 over t minus 1. Minus sine 1 over t minus 1. Okay. So thus minus sine 1 over t minus 1 plus some constant. This is our solution. This is our solution. Okay. You understand my point? So first of all, we rearrange the given integral and we have put it 1 over t square. We put 1 over t square at the end before dt. Then we substitute, let u is equal to 1 divided by t minus 1. Then du over dt, we take its derivative with respect to t. Then du over dt equal to minus 1 divided by t square. Minus 1 divided by t square. Now we product with minus. Then minus du equal to 1 divided by t square dt. Thus, our given integral become cosine u minus du. This minus, it will go outside of the integral. So minus cosine u du. Now what is antiderivative of cosine u? Sine u. Thus we get minus sine u plus constant. So now we replace u by 1 by t minus 1. So 1 by t minus 1 plus, so minus sine 1 by t minus 1 plus constant. So this is the solution of our question. This is the solution of our question. Now we solve question number 37. Now we solve question number 37. You can see here we have indefinite integral. You can see here we have indefinite integral, and here at numerator we have x, and at denominator we have square root of 1 plus x. So what is the question? We have to evaluate indefinite integral of x divided by square root of 1 plus x. So here, how can we solve this? We solve in this way. Here, first of all, we write this indefinite integral. Here we write x divided by 1 plus x square root. What is the value of the square root? Student, what is the value of the square root? The value of the answer, the value of the square root. Student, can you hear me? Plus 1 by 2, plus 1 by 2. Yes, right, it is plus 1 by 2. So we put its value. We put its value. Okay, 1 by 2. here dx. Okay, this is our question. This is our question. So now at numerator, we add 1. So how can we add 1? No, we cannot add. We can add 1 whenever we subtract 1. It means if we add 1 and we subtract 1, no problem. Okay, it means we can add and we can subtract the same number, so no problem, it will be equality. Yes, we cannot add, but if we add, we must have to subtract. We must have to subtract. So here we are adding 1 and we are subtracting 1. So no problem. We can do this. So now this square root, it means 1 plus x. This 1 plus x, 1 plus x power 1 by 2, it is dividing all, it is dividing x, it is dividing 1, it is dividing minus 1. So we write now in this way. It means I write here x plus 1, here x plus 1 dividing by 1 plus x, 1 plus x power 1 by 2 minus, I write in this way, minus 1 divided by 1 plus x, 1 divided by 1 plus x power 1 by 2. It means actually here 1 plus x is dividing both x plus 1 and minus 1 also. Now here this x plus 1 we can write it is 1 plus x plus 1 or 1 plus x, no problem, we can write. Okay, so x plus 1 can be written as 1 plus x. So here it will become 1 plus x, 1 plus x, yes. So divided by 1 plus x power, 1 plus x power 1 by 2 minus 1 divided by 1 plus x, 1 divided by 1 plus x power 1 by 2 dx. So now if I write here, what is the power of 1 plus x? Here it is equal to 1. On the numerator at bust we have 1 plus x with power 1, 1 plus x with power 1. So whenever we shift this 1 plus x power 1 by 2 on the top, so it will becomes minus 1. Thus this is equal to, now here we have 1 plus x whole power 1 by 2, because why 1 by 2? Because this 1, and whenever we shift this 1 by 2 on the top, so 1 minus 1, 1 minus half, it is equal to half. 1 minus half, it is equal to positive half. 1 minus half, it is equal to positive half. So thus plus, sorry, minus 1 by x, 1 plus x, 1 plus x, it is equal to minus 1 over 2 dx. Now 1 plus x power 1 by 2 minus 1 plus x power minus 1 by 2. Okay, now we use the substitution method. Now we use here the following method. Let u is equal to what? U is equal to 1 plus x. Now u is equal to 1 plus x. Now what will be the integral? The given integral, this integral will become u power 1 by 2 minus u power minus 1 over 2. This will become u power 1 by 2 minus u power minus 1 over 2. This will become, so thus now I am erasing this. If you want to take picture, you can take. Or you, may I remove this? May I erase this? Student, may I erase this? Okay. So the given, yes, the given integral now, it will becomes u power 1 by 2, u power 1 by 2 minus u power minus 1 divided by 2 du. Now what is antiderivative of u power 1 over 2? What is antiderivative of u power 1 over 2? We increase 1 and the power, divide the whole power. So this will becomes u power 3 by 2, u power 3 by 2 divided by 3 by 2, u power 3 by 2 minus u power 3 by 2 divided by 3 by 2 minus, what is antiderivative of u power minus 1 by 2? We increase 1 and the power, divide the whole power. So u power 1 by 2 divided by 1 by 2 plus constant, plus constant. So thus here this 3 by 2 which is given in the denominator, which is given at the denominator, this 3 by 2 which is given at the denominator, whenever we shift it to numerator, so this will becomes 2 power 2 divided by 3, 2 divided by 3. What is the value of the u which we supposed? What is the value? We supposed it is equal to 1 plus x. Yes, 1 plus x. Yes. Now its power is 3 by 2 minus. So here 2. Yes, yes, I understand. 1 plus x. So this is equal to 1 plus x whole power 1 by 2 plus some constant. So this is the answer. This is the answer. Okay. So I repeat again this question. I repeat again this question. We have given here x divided by square root of 1 plus x. We have here x divided by square root of 1 plus x divided by square root of 1 plus x. So what we do, we add 1 in the numerator, we subtract 1 in the numerator, we add 1 in the numerator, also we subtract 1 in the numerator. So we get 1 plus x minus 1. So then we divide 1 plus x square root both. 1 plus x divided by 1 plus x square root minus 1 divided by square root of 1 plus x. So whenever then we put the value of the square roots. The value of the square root is 1 by 2. The value of the square root is 1 by 2. Whenever we put, so and we shift from denominator to numerator, so it will becomes minus. So that is why we get here 1 plus x power 1 by 2 minus 1 plus x power minus 1 over 2. Now we use substitution method. Now we use the substitution method. Yes, now we use the substitution method. Okay, and u is equal to 1 plus x. U is equal to 1 plus x. We substitute this. So thus du will becomes dx will becomes du. Thus the given integral is converted into a new variable u in this way. This is equal to indefinite integral u power 1 by 2 minus u power minus 1 over 2. Now we use the definition of antiderivative. We increase 1 in the power, divide the whole power. So u power 3 by 2 divided by 3 by 2 minus u power 1 by 2 divided by 1 by 2. Now here 3 by 2 which is given in the denominator, this whenever we shift it to numerator, so this will becomes 2 by 3, and also this 1 over 2 in the second, it will becomes 2 by 1 plus some constant. So this is the solution of question number 37. Okay, now we move to the next topic. It is called substitution method for definite integral. This is the new topic, substitution method for the definite integral. Substitution method for the definite integral. So what is the difference between substitution method for the definite and substitution method for the indefinite? Basically, here in the definite integral, we must have the lower limit of integration, upper limit of integration. We must will have lower limit of integration, upper limit of integration. So here, what is the rule? What is the kanun? So here, if we have two function f and g, we have two function f and g, and the derivative, it means g is differentiable function. G is differentiable function. It means we can find its derivative, or derivative of this function g exists. The derivative of g exists. The derivative of g exists, and we say that this derivative is continuous on the interval ab. We have discussed the continuity on the closed interval on the first 4.7. So this g dash of x, it is continuous. Yes, can you hear me? Here there is problem, something problem. Can you hear me? Student, can you hear me? Hello? Yes, student, can you hear me now? Okay. So sometimes it is problem in the, I'm not sure where is the problem, but sometimes here it disappear. It means the screen disappear and also it is blinking. I'm not sure what is the problem. Okay. So I was here. I was investigating the substitution method for the definite integral. Substitution method for the definite integral. As I asked you, for this we have two functions f and g. We have two functions f and g. Okay, and g function is differentiable. It's mean its derivative exists. G function is differentiable. It means its derivative exists. Its derivative is possible. Now, and also g, the derivative of g is continuous on an interval ab. We have already discussed the continuity of a function on the closed interval. From the left it should be continuous on b, and from the right it should be continuous on a, and this function it means g dash of x should be defined on the open interval ab. This is the continuity of the function on the closed interval. Then you can see here f is continuous. Here, what is this? F is continuous. Here, f is continuous on the range of g of x, and f is continuous on the range of g of x. What is g of x? We substitute it is equal to u. So it is similar to the previous method, which is a substitution method for the uh, indefinite integral. The substitution is same like the previous. What is the difference? We have here the lower limit and the upper limit. Just this is the difference. We have the lower limit and the upper limit in the given integral. So whenever we substitute g of x into a new variable, whenever we substitute g of x into u, it means u is equal to g of x, then we must have to convert the endpoints, the limits of integration, because here if you see in this integral, a is lower limit of integration and b is lower upper limit of integration. So for the resultant integral, if we put u is equal to g of x or g of x is equal to u, so this composition f of g of x will become f of u. This composition will become f of u dot g dash of x dx. So what this will become? If we take derivative of u, so this will becomes du over dx equal to g dash of x. Thus du is equal to g dash of x dx. Du equal to g dash of x dx. Thus the given integral is converted f of u du. The given integral is converted in this way, f of u du. And the upper limit, here we also convert the lower limit and upper limit. So f and g of x we put a, this will becomes the this will become the lower limit for the resultant definite integral after substitution method. Okay, if we put the value of b and g of x, then if we put the value of b and g of x, we get the upper limit of the integral after converting the given integral into a new variable by substitution method. Thus the integral from a to b f of g of x dot g dash of x dx, this is equal to g of a, it means definite integral from with lower limit g of a and upper limit g of b f of u du, f of u du. Okay, f of u du. Doctor, sorry for interrupt. I want to ask about when I study, I will use the syllabus right. Uh, I could not understand what you are asking. Yes, yes, you must have to follow the syllabus. And also, if there are in the solved exercise, I done some more. I did some more questions. Okay, I did some more questions from the exercise. We follow the syllabus. Yes, but if there are some other question, because if you know the method, you can solve. We must have to follow the syllabus, but in the syllabus I have seen, we have not, it means for the practice, we do not have we do not have much number of the exercises to solve. Okay, but we must have to solve the related question also. So it means I have sent you 4.5 and 5.3. Okay, so you can see some questions are extra. It is for the for your practice. Okay, so but these are related to your syllabus, not outside from the syllabus. Yes, yes, in that what I sent you, I have solved some one or two or three questions extra in each in 4.7, and it means these are related to your question. These are related which we solved. These are related to that. Okay. Okay. Now the resultant integral. Now the resultant integral will become uh, definite integral g of a, from g of a to g of b, f of u du. Now how can we solve this? We follow the same procedure as we did in the previous topic. What was the previous topic? Substitution method for indefinite integral. It means we will integrate this integral. We will integrate this integral. So we will get some answer. So first we will put upper limit. It means in the answer first we will put g of b minus, then we will put g of a. Okay, and for this no need to add constant, because we are dealing with the definite integral, so no need to add constant, just this will be the answer. Now we solve the some question, then you will understand inshallah. So here you can see what is the question. Evaluate the definite integral from -1 to 1. Evaluate the definite integral from -1 to 1. 3x square, 3x square, square root of x square plus 1 dx. Square root of x power 3 plus 1. So now first of all we rearrange the given integral. First of all we rearrange the given integral. So this will be equal to -1 plus 1. So here first we write square root value. So here x power 3 plus 1. After that we put 3x square here, 3x square dx. First we rearrange in this way. Okay, it means 3x square dx. Now we solve it by the substitution method. What we substitute? We substitute u is equal to x power 3 plus 1. U is equal to x power 3 plus 1. U is equal to x power 3 plus 1. So when we substitute this value, when we substitute this value, So u is equal to x power 3 plus 1. Uh, so whenever we substitute, we get u power 1 by 2. Here, substitute mean, here u is equal to, substitution mean putting. Substitution mean putting. So we substitute u is equal to, here u is equal to x power 3. It means here on the left I write, we put u is equal to x power 3 plus 1. This substitution, this substitute, it means u is equal to x power 3 plus 1. So after that we take its derivative. What is its derivative? What is the derivative of x power 3? Yes, what is the derivative of derivative? It's the cos of x power 3. Yes, it is equal to 3x square. This is equal to 3x square. So now we shift dx on this side. It means by cross product, du equal to 3x square, 3x square dx. Yes, 3x square dx. It mean, what does it mean? It mean from here, this thing, 3x square dx, this is equal to u. 3x square dx, this is equal to u. Now you can see here, 3x square dx, this is equal to u. X power 3 plus 1, this is equal to u. Okay. Now du given, u given, what we need? We need g of a, because this is equal to also g of x. This is equal to, because u is equal to, we take g, u is equal to g of x. So for this case, now we need the lower limit for upper limit. How can we find lower limit? We have to find g of minus 1. We have to find g of minus 1. So this will becomes minus 1 power 3, minus 1 power, yes, g of minus 1, this is equal to minus 1 power 3 plus 1, which is equal to, 0. Minus 1 power 3 plus 1, it is equal to 0. It is equal to 0. After that we put here g of 1, because minus 1 power 3, it is equal to minus 1 plus 1, it is equal to this. Why 0? Yes, because minus 1 power 3, it is equal to minus 1 plus 1, how much it is? It is equal to 0. That is why. Okay. So then we find g of a. Now first we find 1 power 3. What is 1 power 3? 1 power 3, it is equal to 1. So 1 plus 1, we get, this is equal to 0. This is equal to 1 plus 1, we get 2. So now the lower limit is given, upper limit is given, u is given, du is given. Thus the given integral is the following. It means lower limit is 0. I do not understand. Can you repeat why? Because here minus 1 plus 1, how much? Okay, I repeat again. G of minus 1 equal to, where is x? We put minus 1. No, here we have power is 3, not 2. We do not have power, it is 3. Minus 1 power 2, I know that it is equal to 1. But we have minus 1 power 3. So minus 1 power 3, it is minus 1. Minus 1 plus 1, we get, it is equal to 0. Minus 1 plus 1, it is equal to 0. Similarly for g of 1, we put 1 power 3 plus 1. So 1 plus 1, it is equal to 2. Now the lower limit is 0, upper limit is, now the lower limit is 0, upper limit is 2. Okay, upper limit is given, lower limit is given, and what is the function? Square root of u. What is the value of the square root? What is the value of the square root? 1 by 2, not minus, it is plus. Plus 1 by 2, it is equal to plus 1 by 2. Yes, so we increase. Now we have to find the definite integral of u power 1 by 2. Now we have to find the definite integral of u power 1 by 2. So u power 1 by 2 plus 1. So 1 by 2 plus 1, how much? 1 by 2 plus 1. Yes, it is equal to 3 by 2. So you can see u power 3 by 2 here. This is equal to u power 3 by 2 divided by 3 by 2. So which is given in the division? 3 by 2 in the division. So yes. So this 3 by 2, it will becomes 2 by 3. Whenever we shift it to the numerator, so this will becomes 2 by 3. This will become, it will becomes 2 by 3. So 2 by 3. Now we put upper limit, lower limit here, 0 and 2. Now 2 over 3, 2 power 3 by 2 minus 0 power 3 by 2. So 2 power 3 by 2. What is 2 power 3 by 2? It is equal to 2 dot square root of 2. 2 dot square root of 2. 2 dot square root of 2. Now 2 cross 2, it is equal to 4. Thus the final answer is 4 into square root of 2 divided by 3. Divided by 3. Because we are dealing with the definite integral, we do not have to add constant. I again repeat here. What is the question here? First, we have to evaluate the definite integral. We have to evaluate the definite integral from minus 1 to 1, 3x square, x power 3 plus 1 square root. It means 3x square root of 3x square zarab square root of x power 3 plus 1. So now x power 3 plus 1, we substitute, this is equal to u. This is equal to u. U is equal to x power 3 plus 1, which is also equal to g of x. Now we take its derivative. It means du over dx. This is equal to 3x square. This is equal to 3x square. So now after that we shift dx on the other side. So du equal to 3x square dx. Thus dx is 3x square dx, it is given, it is equal to u du, and x power 3 plus 1, it is given, it is equal to u. Now we just need lower limit and upper limit. For it we put the value x, we put the value x, x is equal to minus 1 and g of x. So g of minus 1 equal to minus 1 to raise power 3 plus 1. Minus 2 raise power 3, it is equal to minus 1. So minus 1 plus 1, it is equal to 0. It is equal to 0. And the next is we find out g of 1. So for g of 1, where is x and g of x? We put 1. So 1 to raise power 3 plus 1, we get 1 plus 1, it is equal to 2. It is equal to 2. Thus, thus, thus we have and definite integral from 0 to 2 square root of u du. Square root of u du. We get 2 by 3 u power What is the antiderivative of u power 1 by 2? We increase 1 in the power, divide the whole power. So that is why 2 divided by 3, be, uh, that is why u power 3 by 2 divided by 3 by 2. So here what is given in the denominator 3 by 2? So we get here 2 by 3. We get here 2 by 3. So whenever we put upper limit which is equal to 2 and lower limit 0, first we put upper limit minus lower limit. When we put, so we get 2 power 3 by 2 minus 0 power 3 by 2. So that is why here 2 by 3 dot, now 2 power 3 by 2, it is equal to 2 into square root of 2. Thus we get 2 0 of 2, 4 into square root of 2 divided by 3. So this is the substitution method for definite integral. Now I gave another example, other question. Evaluate the integral from pi by 4 to pi by 2. This is a definite integral from pi by 4 to pi by 2, and we have the function cotangent theta and cosec square theta d theta. We have the following function: cotangent theta, cosec square theta, d theta. Cotangent theta, cosec square theta, d theta. So if we have simple cotangent theta and cosec theta, so we can get it is equal to what is antiderivative of this? Minus cosec theta. Simple, minus cosec theta. But we have here cotangent theta, cosec square theta. That is why we have to solve it by the substitution method, because we know that the derivative of cotangent theta is cosec minus cosec square theta. So if we substitute one, so we can get the second. So here I solve the following. We substitute u is equal to cotangent theta. U is equal to cotangent theta. U is equal to cotangent theta. So if u is equal to cotangent theta, whenever we take the derivative, what is the derivative of cotangent theta? What is the derivative of the cotangent theta? It is equal to minus cosec square theta. It is equal to minus cosec square theta. Yes, not cos, cosec, cosec. Okay, you got my point? Cosec, cosec. Okay, here cosec mean I put, yes, this. So minus cosec square theta. Abdul Hadi, you are correct. Minus cosec square theta. So what? Whenever we shift d theta on the other side by the cross multiplication, so we get du equal to, yes, du equal to minus cosec square theta d theta. In the question we have cosec square theta d theta. We do not have minus. So that is why we product this du is equal to minus cosec square theta d theta with minus. So we get minus du equal to cosec square theta d theta. You can see this here. You can see this is minus. Why? Because in the question we have just cosec square theta d theta. So it is equal to minus du. Now here du we get, function we get. Now we find out the lower limits, upper limit. We have what is g theta here, because we shift u as always gx or g theta with respect to the variable. So here we have theta, so it is equal to cotangent theta, because u is always gx or gt or g theta like that. So cotangent theta. So g theta is equal to cotangent theta. first we find out the value of this function g theta at the lower point. At the lower point, what is the lower point? Pi by 4. What at the lower limit? Pi by 4. So we find out g pi by 4, g of pi by 4, g of pi by 4, g of pi by 4. It is equal to g of pi by 4. It is equal to cotangent pi by 4. Cotangent pi by 4. So what is cotangent pi by 4? What is cotangent? Cotangent is equal to cos. Yes, why it is 1? Because the following reason. Cotangent pi by 4, it is equal to cos pi by 4. Here I write cos pi by 4 divided by sin pi by 4. Sin 40 cos 45 over sin 45. So both have value 1 over square root 2. At this angle both have 1 divided by square root 2. So that is why uh, what is this? Why cosine 2 is equal to 1? No, not cosine 2 is equal to 1. Where it is? Where I am putting? I am not putting here. Cosine 2 is here. No. Okay. So I am putting here cosine pi by 4. Yes. So here actually cotangent pi by 4. Cotangent pi by 4. Cotangent pi by 4. It is equal to cos pi by 4 divided by sin pi by 4. Cos pi by 4 divided by sin pi by 4. Okay. So cos pi by 4 divided by sin pi by 4. Now what is the value of cos pi by 4? It is equal to 1 divided by square root 2. 1 divided by square root 2. What is sin pi by 4? It is the same, 1 divided by square root 2. So whenever we cancel this with this, we get here 1. So that is why you can see in the book it is equal to 1. So cotangent pi by 4, it is equal to 1. Now we find cotangent pi by 2. Cotangent pi by 2. So cotangent pi by 2, here I write cotangent pi by 2. Cotangent pi by 2. It is basically equal to cos pi by 2. Cos pi by 2 divided by sin pi by 2. Sin pi by 2. Now what is cos pi by 2? What is cosine 90? What is cosine 90? Yeah, yes, it is equal to 0. What is sin 90? Cosine 90, it is equal to 0. What is sin 90? It is equal to 1. So 0 divided by 1, it is equal to 0 divided by 1, it is equal to 0. So that is why you can see here in the book it is given 0. That is why it is given here 0. Yes, now we have a function in terms of the u. We have the lower limits, we have the upper limit. So now we integrate the function with respect to u. Now we integrate the function with respect to u. Now we integrate the function with respect to u. So whenever we integrate, we get here the definite integral. Because we have minus du, so minus will go outside. We have the definite integral from 1 to 0. We have the definite integral from 1 to 0 u du. definite integral from 1 to 0 u du. Now what is antiderivative of u with respect to u? What is antiderivative of u with respect to u? Yes, antiderivative of u with respect to u. Yes, it is equal to u square. We increase 1 in the power, divide the whole power. So u square, u power 2 divided by 2. So first we put upper limit here. Upper limit is 0. So 0 square, 0 divided by 2. So 0 minus, now 1 square divided by 2. So 0 minus 1 by 2. So minus 1 by 2. Now minus is also outside this. So minus there of minus we get 1 by 2. We get 1 by 2. So here this, by this way we can solve the definite integral by the substitution method. We can solve the definite integral by the substitution method. Also we have given the following question. You can see we have to evaluate the definite integral from 0 to pi by, from 0 to pi by 2. So here what is the function? We have 2 sine x cosine x. We have 2 sine x cosine x in the numerator, and in the denominator we have 1 plus sine square x whole power 3. 1 plus sine square x whole power 3. It is equal to the definite integral from 1 to 2. Why 1 to 2? Because we substitute. Now how can we solve this? We substitute in this way. We substitute 1 plus sine square x, it is equal to u. So in the denominator we get 1 over u power 3. Okay. So now we find its derivative. So du over dx, derivative of 1 0, derivative of sine square x, derivative of sine square x, it is equal to 2 sine x dx. So thus 2 sine x cosine x dx, it is equal to du. We shift dx on the other side. So du is equal to 2 sine x cosine x dx. So here the given, now what is the remaining? We have here, what is the remaining? We have to find the lower limit, upper limit. So here in sine, because 1 plus sine square x, we write this is also g of x. So g of 0, it means 1 plus sine 0 square, sine square 0. So sine square 0, sine 0, 0, and if it's taking square, it is again 0. So we get the lower end point or the lower limit 1. And now we find out the upper limit. So we put g of pi by 2. So sine pi by 2, it is equal to 1. So that is g of pi by 2, it is equal to 1 plus sine square pi by 2. 1 plus sine square pi by 2. 1 plus 1, it is equal to 2. 1 plus 1, it is equal to. So the lower limit is 1, upper limit is 2. Lower limit is 1, upper limit is 2. So thus now we find out the antiderivative of 1 over u power 3. So before this we shift u power 3 from denominator to numerator. So here we have u power 3. Whenever we shift from denominator to numerator, so this will becomes u power minus 3. u power minus, so this will become u power minus 3. This will become u power minus 3. So whenever we take its antiderivative, we increase 1 in the power. Minus 3 plus 1 minus 2. So that is why u power minus 2 divided by minus 2. So this will become minus 1 divided by 2 u square. Now, upper limit is 2, lower limit is 1. So first we put upper limit. So whenever we put upper limit, so minus 1 by 2, it is a constant. So 1 over u square, it is equal to 4. 1 by 4, 1 by 4. So minus 1 by 8 minus 1 by 2, minus 1 by 2. So minus 1 by 8 plus 1 by 2. So it is equal to 3 by 8. 3 by 8. So this is our today lecture. If you have any question, please ask the question. Yes, if you have any question, please ask the question. If the exam will be in the university, then calculator will not be allowed. Then calculator will not be allowed. If Sultan, yes, Abdul Aziz,
Yes,
do you
doctor.
have? Yes.
Sorry, what about the normal calculator? Only جمع ضرب قسمة like this. Just no sine, no cosine, only the normal one.
Okay, okay. You can use that. You